No, I can't say I'm optimistic. It's been so slow changing. And it's so deep-seated. I mean, no matter where you go, you meet it. It might be in a subtle way, it might be a very blatant way, but everywhere you turn, there is racism, and you cannot deny it. Maybe we've come along from there. I don't know. I don't know what the big picture is. I'm not out there in the world, but the little bit that I do touch the world. For instance, I give talks about the order every summer. I go to whatever parish I'm sent to. I went to San Francisco this summer and gave talks in the most affluent parish in San Rafael County. There was not a single white person in that parish. And of course I bring this up, at the table in the rectory. Was talking to the priest, talking to the housekeeper. And I said, what's the racial population of this? Well, we just don't have any, they don't live around here. I said, you mean to tell me there weren't, I said, I know a lot of wealthy African Americans live in this county, not too far from here. I said, is there any outreach to them, So I see it all over. You see it wherever you go.
How did they receive you when you said that? I mean, how did they respond to you?
Well, they're embarrassed, of course, and but their response was, well, what can I do,
Yes.
But
so
each
not
person,
a single black.
no,
Yes.
not a single.
Yes.
And I was there all the weekend. I don't know how many masses, 5 masses. And then I went into San Francisco, the city, and the following weekend, and I talked at 4 masses there. I think I saw 1 or 2 in the city of San Francisco.
That has a black mayor.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in this parish, no.
No.
And I talked about it, and they said, well, they're mostly Asian. That's true, they were mostly Asians in there, and whites and Asians, and 1 or 2 black people. 1 or 2. I remember 1. There may have been 2. And it just makes you realize how very segregated the country is,
Yes.
when you get around like that.
Yes.
And then I went in between the 2 weekends. I went down to Los Angeles to see my cousin who just lost his wife. 90 years old, lost his wife for 67 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And I went down to see him, and this lovely little neighborhood in Los Angeles, totally black.
Totally black.
I stayed with one of our alumni in another neighborhood, totally black,
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a white cousin there.
Yes.
And I called her up, Los Angeles, my mother's sister's daughter. And we grew up close because we have the same grandparents. I called her up, and she's the last of her siblings, as I'm the last of mine. And I said, well, I knew you knew I was going to be in town. Another cousin had alerted her that I wasn't going to contact her. And she said, oh, yes, she says, I hope we'll get to see you, but we won't go into the city. We won't go into the city. I got angry, And I said, well, wherever you want to meet us, we'll meet you. So she said, well, I said, do you have any suggestion? Now, our alumna was going to take me. So she said, no, you pick out the place. So this alumna of ours has a friend who owns this restaurant, and so she suggested it. And she's fine. So they met us. She and her husband met us, and we had a fine lunch and enjoyed us very much. But if here I have a cousin in the same city, 2 cousins,
That's right.
never meet.
Isn't that something?
It's funny. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what's going wrong here? We never had reunions, family reunions. Maybe that's the fault. I don't know. If we'd had family reunions, we might have gotten the 2 races together. But my white cousins visited our grandparents, and so they grew up with us, as it were,
Yes, and
visits.
knew about the black side.
Oh, sure, they
Yes.
knew about the black side very
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Then I have a second cousin who's a cousin of a daughter of my mother's cousin, and she's a Franciscan sister, and there's a world of difference there, because she's very close to me, because we have a common bond. We're both religious, so it's been an interesting thing, to see the mix and how it doesn't mix at times.
Yes.
There's a mix within our family, a terrific mix, but then they don't go out into the other side.
And therein lies the story of America, right?
That's it.
In terms of
You
race.
can't get away from it. It's very real.